When one reflects on the iconic figure of Mr. Perfect, images of his exceptional physical prowess, that smug smile that could rile up any crowd, and his famous habit of flicking a towel over his shoulder before a match immediately spring to mind. He stood out as a true icon in the realm of professional wrestling, yet his journey ended far too soon in a heartbreaking manner. To truly understand what led to that point and separate fact from rumor, it's worth delving into the life of Curtis Michael Hennig, the man behind the persona. Born on March 28, 1958 in Robbinsdale, Minnesota, Hennig came from a lineage deeply rooted in the wrestling business. His father, Larry the Axe Hennig, was a renowned wrestler himself, known for his tough, no-nonsense style in the ring during the 1960s and 1970s. This family connection provided young Curt with an early introduction to the world of grapples, holds, and high-flying maneuvers. Later, his own son, Joe Hennig, would carry on the tradition under the ring name Curtis Axel, becoming a WWE superstar in his own right and even capturing tag team gold. This multi-generational involvement underscored how wrestling wasn't just a job for the Hennigs, it was a way of life that spanned decades and influenced multiple family members. Curt Hennig began his professional wrestling career in 1980, honing his skills in various regional promotions. He quickly rose through the ranks, demonstrating a natural talent that set him apart from his peers. During the early 1980s, he competed in Pacific Northwest Wrestling, where he captured several championships, including tag team titles that showcased his ability to work seamlessly with partners. His big break came in the American Wrestling Association, AWA, a promotion where his father had also made his mark. In 1987, Hennig achieved a milestone by defeating the legendary Nick Bockwinkel to win the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. He held onto that title for an impressive 373 days, defending it against top challengers and proving his endurance and technical mastery. This reign not only elevated his status, but also highlighted his versatility. He could blend power moves with precise grapples, making every match a clinic in wrestling artistry. Fans and critics alike marveled at his ability to make complex sequences look effortless, a trait that would define his entire career. By the late 1980s, Hennig transitioned to the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, adopting the unforgettable gimmick of Mr. Perfect. This character was a heel, a villainous persona, who boasted about his flawless abilities in everything from sports vignettes to in-ring performances. Who could forget those classic promotional segments where he'd sink a basketball from half-court, hit a home run, or bowl a perfect game, all while declaring himself superior? In the WWF, he engaged in high-profile rivalries, most notably with Hulk Hogan, the era's biggest star. Their clashes drew massive crowds and helped solidify Hennig's place as a main-event caliber talent. He went on to win the WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship twice, first in 1990 by defeating Tito Santana in a tournament final, and again later that year after a controversial rematch scenario. His combined reigns totaled over 400 days, making him the longest-reigning Intercontinental Champion of the 1990s, a record that spoke volumes about his dominance in the mid-card scene. Wrestling historians and enthusiasts often praise Hennig for elevating the technical aspect of the sport. He wasn't just about brawling, but about executing moves with precision and flair. Matches against opponents like Bret the Hitman Hart are still regarded as masterpieces, blending chain wrestling, counters, and storytelling in ways that influence generations of performers. In 2007, Hennig was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, an honor presented by his longtime friend and former Major League Baseball player Wade Boggs. This recognition came as no surprise to those who knew him. Even Hulk Hogan, in a heartfelt tribute, once remarked that everyone would leave their egos behind when entering a venue where Hennig was performing because no one could match his work ethic, charisma, or in-ring excellence. He was simply the pinnacle of what a wrestler could be, athletic, entertaining, and utterly reliable. However, like many in the high-pressure world of professional wrestling, Hennig's life wasn't without its shadows and conflicts, which sometimes overshadowed his accomplishments. One of the more troubling aspects of Hennig's personal life surfaced in 1999 when he faced legal issues related to domestic disputes with his wife, Leonita. Reports indicated allegations of physical and verbal misconduct, painting a picture of turmoil behind the scenes that contrasted sharply with his polished on-screen image. This incident brought unwanted attention to his private struggles and revealed vulnerabilities that fans rarely saw. Additionally, whispers of infidelity added further strain to his marriage, creating emotional rifts within his family. These personal failings weren't isolated. They contributed to a broader narrative of instability that affected not just his home life, but also how the public perceived him. In an industry where performers are often larger-than-life heroes or villains, such revelations humanized Hennig but also invited scrutiny, reminding everyone that even the most perfect individuals grapple with imperfections. Professionally, Hennig's career was marked by intense moments that sometimes crossed into controversy. Perhaps the most notorious was the infamous plane ride from hell in 2002, during a WWE International Tour flight from the UK back to the US. Amidst a chaotic atmosphere fueled by alcohol and high spirits, Hennig got into a heated physical confrontation with rising star Brock Lesnar. What started as playful ribbing escalated into a legitimate brawl at 30,000 feet, with the two powerhouses trading blows and even damaging the plane's emergency exit door. This incident, detailed in various wrestling memoirs and documentaries, became emblematic of the excesses in the industry at the time. As a result, WWE released Hennig shortly after, citing the altercation as a key factor. It was a devastating turn for someone of his stature, effectively derailing what could have been a late career resurgence. Hennig's assertive personality, while an asset in promos and matches, often led to friction with colleagues and management. He wasn't afraid to voice opinions or stand his ground, which sometimes resulted in missed opportunities or strained relationships within the locker room. Another pivotal chapter was his departure from World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in 2000, following a stint that began in 1997. After leaving WWF due to a severe back injury that sidelined him from full-time wrestling in the mid-1990s, Hennig joined WCW as part of the New World Order, NWO faction. Aligning with stars like Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall, he achieved success there, winning the United States Championship and tag team titles, but backstage disputes over creative direction and contract issues led to a contentious exit. Legal battles ensued, creating animosity that lingered in the wrestling community. This move wasn't merely a job change. It represented the volatile nature of the Monday Night Wars era, where talent jumped between promotions amid fierce competition between WWF and WCW. Tragically, these ups and downs culminated in Hennig's untimely death on February 10, 2003. He was discovered lifeless in a hotel room in Brandon, Florida, at the age of 44, just weeks before his 45th birthday. The Hillsborough County Medical Examiner ruled the cause as acute cocaine intoxication, a finding that shocked but didn't entirely surprise those close to the industry. Hennig's father later publicly acknowledged that steroids and painkillers had also played a role in his son's declining health, exacerbating long-standing issues. Throughout his career, Hennig had battled substance abuse, facing suspensions and rehabilitative efforts multiple times. The grueling demands of wrestling, constant travel, physical punishment, and the pressure to perform at peak levels often led performers to rely on pain management substances, and Hennig was no exception. He had sought treatment on several occasions, showing a desire to overcome his demons, but the grip of addiction proved overwhelming. Poignantly, he was scheduled to compete in an independent wrestling event that same day, organized by promoter Jimmy Hart at the Florida State Fairgrounds. This detail underscored the harsh reality. Behind the glamour of the ring, many wrestlers fought silent battles with health and dependency. Hennig's passing sent ripples of grief throughout the wrestling world, prompting reflections on the toll the lifestyle exacted. It spurred increased awareness about substance abuse, mental health, and the need for better support systems within promotions. The E, in particular, implemented stricter wellness policies in the years following, partly inspired by losses like Hennig's. His death served as a somber reminder that public personas often mask private struggles, and even the most accomplished individuals can succumb to unseen pressures. Despite the tragic end, Hennig's career was filled with highlights that cemented his legendary status. His Intercontinental Championship victories in 1990, including a memorable SummerSlam match against Bret Hart where he dropped the title in a classic encounter, remain fan favorites. Partnerships, like his managerial role with Ric Flair in the early 1990s, added depth to storylines and showcased his mic skills. After his back injury forced a temporary retirement from active competition, he transitioned into commentary and managerial duties, proving his value beyond physical feats. His brief return to WWE in 2002, including a surprise appearance in the Royal Rumble where he eliminated several competitors, reignited excitement and reminded audiences of his enduring talent. In WCW, Hennig continued to shine, feuding with icons like Diamond Dallas Page and Goldberg, and his involvement in the NWO added to the faction's chaotic appeal. Though injuries limited his output, his technical proficiency never waned. Posthumously, his induction into the Hall of Fame affirmed his lasting impact. Wrestlers today, from technicians like Daniel Bryan to charismatic heels like MJF, draw inspiration from Hennig's blueprint, a perfect fusion of athleticism, showmanship, and storytelling. Ultimately, Curt Hennig, known to millions as Mr. Perfect, embodied the essence of professional wrestling's golden era. His ability to make every action seem seamless, from his signature perfect plex finisher to his arrogant strut, earned him the moniker that fit like a glove. Beyond the accolades, his legacy endures through the memories he created for fans, the respect he garnered from peers, and the lessons his life imparts about resilience and vulnerability. Whether revisiting his vignettes, classic bouts, or Hall of Fame speeches, Hennig's influence persists, encouraging new generations to appreciate the artistry of the squared circle. His story, though marked by triumphs and trials, reminds us why wrestling captivates. It's a blend of spectacle, skill, and human drama, all personified in one perfect performer.